Hey there guys, I'm SonicGhost and welcome back to some more Let's Play Shantae. Last time we made our way here to the zombie caravan and met up with a zombie named Roddy Tops. She told us all about our next stone that we're looking for here, the Simmer Stone. She told us it's located in a place called Cackle Mound, which is located in the swamp that we passed on the way here. So let's go ahead and leave to the caravan gates and make our way back to the said swamp, as Roddy's going to meet us there and help us get inside of Cackle Mound. So let's go ahead, use the vanish cream on this screen so we don't have to worry about the enemies here. And let's keep our eye out here on the screen, simply just because when we passed through this graveyard during the day, we couldn't really collect something here. At nighttime, in this graveyard, there is a firefly. So let's grab that firefly on the way back over to the swamp. Be very careful on these trees because of how narrow these platforms are. But we want to climb on the top of these said trees and make it all the way to the top of the tree here on our right. Here, let's go ahead and transform into the monkey and climb the stone wall here on our right side. Doing so, we'll get to our next firefly. So there you go. That's another firefly to add to our collection. Now let's just go ahead, fall down to the bottom here and make our way over to the left side to get back to the swamp. Gotta be very careful here with these little blob creatures because they're just kind of hard to really avoid. They kind of just jump around in a random pattern, so it could sometimes avoid them with ease and sometimes it just run into you. It's kind of a luck-based thing. Let's transform back into Shantae's human form so we can use the float muffins on the screen. I just find it very easy to platform through this section with the float muffins. You can make these platform jumps pretty easily if you're kind of slow and patient with your platforming here. But using the float muffins, we don't need to worry about any of this at this point. So if we do fall down, well, we got that extra layer of security by just bouncing right off the water like this is a trampoline. We could fight the zombies here, but there's no real need to, honestly. Hey, we caught up with Roddy Tops, and now should go ahead and help us get into our next labyrinth in the game. What's shaking, bacon? I don't know, the whole body. Give me a sec to figure this thing out. There we go. Now listen up. The walking nightmares that live in this hole won't see you if you stay in the shadows. But once you're spotted, things will get ugly. Stay hidden as long as possible, and you might make it out alive. Thanks, Roddy. I owe you one. How convenient that Roddy's leg was able to act as a key to get us in here. That worked out really well in our favor. And now let's go ahead and enter our next labyrinth in the game. Welcome to Cackle Mound. Here we got some new enemies. We got some cacklers, as the game call it. They kind of look more like mummies if you ask me. But here, I'm actually going to use one of our greed pots that we just bought from the zombie caravan. So now doing this, we have a chance to get more money drops from these enemies. So, killing these guys, as we can see, we're getting 2 big gems, which definitely helps if you want to get some money here by just fighting enemies like this in a section that just constantly respawn, but it doesn't always guarantee that they're going to drop money. So, this item does help in a lot of ways and does kind of pay for itself. But at the same time, there are still way better ways in the game to grind out money, so not going to be seeing me use these pots much, if at all at this point. It's just kind of a good thing to use once, and then just go dancing for the rest of your money. Here we're going to go ahead and transform into the monkey and climb our way to the top of this room. There's a little pocket here that has a warp squid inside of it. So there you go, we got our first warp squid. Just like all the other labyrinths we explored, this area has a total of 5 warp squids, but we can only collect 4 out of the 5 for now, so we'll keep that in mind. But here we can hide in the shadows, just like Roddy said, and these enemies just completely ignore you. So if you don't want to fight things or you're low on health, just hide in the shadows and enemies will just walk right past you. But once you walk out of the shadows, the enemies will see you, so if you go back in the shadows at that point, yeah, it's not going to help your case because these enemies, well, they're going to just follow you right into the shadows and just do some damage, so you gotta be careful. Speaking of being careful, here's a new enemy for us to fight. This here is a Shrieker. This will actually summon some ghosts to shoot out at you, but if you manage to kill it, well, the ghosts don't spawn anymore and don't have to worry about the enemy. It's just not really worth fighting that enemy, to be honest. It takes a lot of damage before it finally dies, so I just recommend avoiding it. But here we got a puzzle. I'm gonna go ahead and knock this eye into the statue, and by doing so, it would open its mouth, revealing a key. So that could take some time to get on your first playthrough, but if you know how to line up the eyeball, it is pretty easy. So if you want an easier time, just kind of do what I did there. Gotta be careful when you're running through certain sections here because there are little traps that can just pop up out of nowhere and do damage to Shantae. So you gotta be very careful on where you walk. Pay attention to your surroundings for this reason, but there are some areas where the stuff isn't really that telegraphed, which doesn't help. Speaking of things that don't really help much, these eye platforms. These are kind of annoying to deal with here in this dungeon, simply because of all the spikes around you. So, where these eyes are looking, that's where the platform will move. So, you want to go and look in a certain direction to go in that said direction. So here, I want this eye to go to left, so I just wait for it to look left, jump on the platform, and then the platform will move left. But, make one wrong move here, and you're going to fall in spikes, which, yeah, it's not going to be great. So take this section very slow. Gonna go ahead, jump over here on a platform to our right, which gives us a warp squid. So, that's another warp squid collected. Here, I want to go ahead and ride this platform straight up, but as you can see, the timing is a little strict in some ways. The eye starts looking around about every half second, I would like to say, and you gotta time things just right to jump on top of it. Here, you gotta go ahead, duck down before you get hit in the head with spikes. Very beginner's trap room here, I will say, because my first playthrough, I didn't see that coming right away, and I couldn't react in time. So, maybe better just to take that platform with the monkey. But speaking of which, let's go ahead and transform into the monkey so we can jump up to the top here. And now we gotta go ahead and do one of these eye puzzles again. So break open the pot to reveal an eyeball, and now it's not this thing into the statue, revealing another key. So the thing is with these statue puzzles, they can be kind of tricky just because of the physics of the eye. When you first hit the eye, it will bounce pretty high, but after a while, it starts losing that speed, and then from there, it gets slower and slower, barely moving. So you have to hit the eye once again to get its speed back up and the height back up to where you want it. So it's kind of a juggling act to get the eye into the statue, which is why on our first playthrough, those kind of puzzles can take you a while. And on my first playthrough, it took me minutes per puzzle like that to actually get the eye into the socket. It's not easy to do, but after repeat playthroughs of the game, you'll start learning the timing and the physics a little bit better, so it might become a little bit easier over time. But here, let's go ahead and use that key that we just got to unlock this door here, and continue moving forward. Just gonna go ahead and ignore that shrieker, because I really just don't want to bother with you. No need to fight it. I'm just gonna wait for this platform to look left, so we can go ahead and move to the said left. Here, let's go ahead, just jump on this platform to go straight up. Transform back into Shantae's normal form while we're waiting here, because we got enough time for it. And go ahead, jump on this platform to go left once again. And here, breaking open this pot, there would be a 1-up. You're gonna find a lot of 1-ups here in this dungeon, and that's just because of all the opportunities for you to die via spikes. So they're very generous with the lives, but there's a very good reason. This puzzle is a little bit different as you're noticing here, because we put the eye in the socket here for the statue, but nothing happened. And that's because we need to get this statue to look over at the lady here on our left. So, you need to bounce this thing in and out of the statue until the eye looks left. As you're noticing, every time we put the eye in the statue, the eyeball moves clockwise. So first time it looks straight up, putting it back in, goes right, then down, and then finally left, revealing a key. Now we'll just leave that statue to goggle at the statue of the woman. Guess he really likes that statue. And let's make our way now to the bottom here. Oh my gosh, did I just get a frame perfect jump? That was lucky, and now I feel like I'm gonna die for it. Is there a way to cancel this? Because I'm screwed if I can't. Alright, that was just an interaction. Honestly, there are times where I just really don't like having the charge, and that's one of them. It's kind of a scary thing. I had to take a moment to breathe, and I forgot to let go of the attack button. If I didn't have the tiara to do the extra twirl attack in the air, I would have actually died. So, let's just be more careful here. In this case, I'm going to use some Vanish Screen. Simply because there's a lot of traps in this room, so use Vanish Screen to get through here easier. The tip here is just kind of look out to where these eyes are looking. If there's an eye looking down at the ground, chances are there's a trap there waiting for you. So, just be paying attention to your surroundings. Here I want to go ahead and ride this platform all the way straight up because there's a little portion of the wall you can just go straight into, and going up through the ceiling gives you another warp squid. So there you go, that's another warp squid collected. It's already 3 out of the 5 squids in this dungeon, so we're getting them pretty quick. Here we got ourselves another one of these eye statue puzzles, but this one's one of the harder ones in my opinion. And that's just simply because, yeah, as you can see, this eye's kind of awkward to hit. And now I got the thing stuck in the loading zone. and I gotta be very careful. So I'm gonna just transform back into Shantae's human form to use her hair to get this thing. You gotta be very careful where you're hitting the thing, because, yeah, as you've seen, it can get into an impossible-to-reach situation. And if it can stop going through the door, that would be nice. This one's a little more awkward to line up correctly to get into the statue itself, so this is probably one that's gonna take you a while. And I do not blame you, because in my opinion, this is probably the hardest eye puzzle in the whole labyrinth. But if you get lucky like I did there, then the thing could just bounce straight into the socket, giving you a key, even though that really shouldn't have made it. But one of the other attempts looked like it actually hit the eye, so it should have worked. I don't know. That puzzle was just kind of annoying in my opinion. Just go ahead using our vantage screen here so we can get through this section without taking any more damage. Let's unlock this door, continue to our right. And from here, we got a nice and long vertical shaft to climb up. We could transform into the monkey to make this easier, but I'll just go ahead and stick to my normal form here just to platform up. So let's go ahead and jump up all the different platforms here. We got a pot which reveals a big heart, so if you're low on health, I'll fully heal you. And here I'm going to grab myself the new item we just got, the fireballs. Because here we got ourselves another new enemy to fight. This enemy really doesn't stand much of a chance when you use the fireballs. So, just using this, just let it do its thing. And after a while, that vampire lady is dead. Jumping down this hole, we see we got ourselves somewhat of a mini-boss of this dungeon. This is the quadruple skulls. The gimmick here is you need to pay attention to where the skull is going to appear and then attack it. And I really hope you're watching this video in 60 frames per second, because this is yet another one of those cases where the game loves using flickering sprites to showcase where something is. So pay attention to where the skull is going and then attack it in that new location. And just doing this a couple times will defeat the guy. It takes a while because this guy does have a lot of hits before he does get defeated. I find using the flip kick makes things somewhat easier for the bottom two skulls, although it might not do any extra damage here, I'm not exactly sure. But it doesn't hurt to do. It technically is a more damaging attack, so might as well use it. I'm just gonna go ahead and just take care of this little vampire lady here again. Just use the fireballs, like make this very easy. Forgot I was still holding down the attack button, so I got a nice charge out of that. She dropped money? I'll never know now. Heading to our room over here to our left, we got ourselves another guardian to save. So let's go ahead and talk to her. Thank you for freeing me. Once I was the guardian of this labyrinth, but a terrible creature imprisoned me here. For your kindness, I will teach you a magical dance that you can use to foil evil. Watch closely. You can review the dance moves on your sub-screen. Practice hard and never forget them. So now we just learned ourselves the spider dance. Pressing down and then the A button will transform Shantae into a spider. Using the spider, we can go ahead and climb certain background objects like the web here. Doing that, we can get to higher areas that we weren't able to reach normally. Now this one kind of feels like a redundant transformation in a lot of ways, because the monkey is already a transformation we have that can climb things. But the spider and monkey can climb two different things. The monkey can climb walls, which are in front of you. So any wall, like a ledge for example, that's in front of you and not in the background, we can go ahead and climb. But walls in the background specifically, that's what we can climb. So things like spider webs or any kind of discolored rocks, stuff like that, that is what the spider's used for. So you're going to be seeing me flip-flop between spider and monkey anytime we need to do any kind of platforming, simply just because of the differences between what the two things they can climb. Monkey can climb walls, spider can climb backgrounds. It's as simple as that. But at this point, now that we got the spider, we're just about done here in this dungeon. There's only a handful more rooms that we can explore before we get to the boss of the said labyrinth. So, riding back up this very, very, very long vertical shaft, I'm gonna make our way back to basically the beginning portion of the dungeon, and now with the spider transformation, we can get to a new area that we couldn't have gotten to beforehand. So let's just go ahead and make our way back over here to the right. And in this room, we can go ahead and transform into the spider here and climb the web that's just on the ceiling. We can go ahead and actually get the inputs correct here for the dance. Sometimes the dance, I swear, is a little finicky. If you don't hit the button that you need to hit for your dance right when you get back to the music note, it just doesn't recognize the input. And it can be a little awkward at times to get that correct, even when you get the rhythm. It's just more or less kind of depends on the game at that point and the timing. But here, this eyeball puzzle, probably the easiest one in my opinion in the whole dungeon, simply just because the easy way for you to actually put these eyes into the sockets is just hit the left eye into the right socket and the right eye into the left socket. Doing this will consistently get you to put the eyes where they need to be, and having both eyes looking straight up will drop a key. So now with this key, we can go ahead and make our way back to the beginning of the dungeon one more time and get to another room now that we can access using the spider transformation. And with that, we'll pretty much be at the end of the dungeon. This is our final key that we needed to progress forward, so we're just about done here in Cackle Mound. So I'm going to transform back into Shantae's human form, just so we can transform right into the monkey. And you really do wish that you did have more buttons on a Game Boy Color that do transformations based on the buttons, but that wouldn't come until years later into the franchise's history. For now, it's a little bit of a slower paced transformation sequence, but hey, you gotta work with the limitations. System only had a handful of buttons, so you can only do a handful of different things to get your different tasks done. But here, let's just go ahead and transform into the spider, as if we came here any earlier, well, we wouldn't be able to progress too far simply because of all the spikes around us. Couldn't climb up spikes, but we can use the spider here to climb up these webs. Just go ahead and hold up when you get to the top of a web to jump to the next web. And you can hold the jump button to get some more height from that, so if you want things to be a little more consistent, hold the jump button when you're going up. Now let's go ahead and make our way over here to our right to fight the boss of the dungeon. That's funny. This is the Simmerstone chamber, but no sign of Risky Boots. If I'm quick enough... Ha! Nice try, girly girl, but the Simmerstone comes with me. Its magical fire will keep my water boiling forever. What? Not again! Ah! Welcome the boss here of Cackle Mound. This is the Wheel Beast. You want to go ahead and use a charge move just to start off the fight right away. And you can actually just attack this guy with any normal attack, but it's not really going to do that much damage. After a while, this guy will transform into a wheel, hence the name. What you're actually supposed to do in this fight is transform into the spider and climb onto the background objects here, and we can see there's a blue button on each one of these walls. I want to press these buttons when this guy is over the said floor to actually activate a trap. But right now, we can't really do anything because this guy's rolling around the room in his ball form. So we gotta wait for him to drop down from the ceiling, and now we can press the button where he's standing to open the floor below him and make him fall down. This is gonna do a lot of damage to the boss, and anytime he's over one of these little traps, just press the button and this guy will fall right down. The timing can be a little weird at first to get used to, but just pay attention to where this guy is moving and keep an eye on where his feet are in relation to the platform. When they get close to the center, that is when you open up the pit. But as you can see, it's gotta be basically right on top of the pit. If it's not, yeah, this doesn't really work out. So this boss is, in my opinion, one of the harder ones. Okay, I've never seen that before. He actually fell down the hole twice. I didn't even know he can do that. But I guess sometimes the Wheel Beast can fall down the hole twice, which will do more damage. So that's the gimmick of the fight. Just drop him down the hole a bunch of times and you will win, but you do have to be careful because these holes are technically bottomless pits that you can fall into. If you fall into one of these pits, you will lose a life and have to redo the boss from the very beginning. So be careful of your footing. But now defeating the Wheel Beast, we got ourselves the Simmerstone here. And now with that, we're going to go ahead and collect this and end the episode here. Next time on Let's Play Shantae, we'll go ahead and use our new spider transformation and make our way around Secret Land, see what that opens up for us, and find out information about where our next and final stone of the game is to collect. I'll see you guys next time.